So let me know when you're ready. I'll kick it off.
We're asking you.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. Go ahead.
Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. What does a businessman
An entrepreneur.
And a Marine veteran
have to say about what's going on in the world today? Join us and find out.
in 3, 2,
Kick it! All right, welcome to another Hardheaded episode coming at you live. Not live. We're just coming at you.
Coming at you. Recorded.
Recorded. Hey, I'm Troy, your host tonight. With me is Mr. Matt Amos. We're going to hear what's on his mind tonight. And Mr. Chet Sears is always with us. Welcome, gentlemen.
Glad to be here.
somewhat.
Matt barely made it.
I totally forgot that we were doing this until Chet texted this morning and said, hey, we're going to record tonight. And I was like, oh.
You wish you were at Thai Traditions eating some Thai hot right now, don't you?
I did make plans to eat at Thai Tradition tonight, and those unfortunately had to be canceled. So I could be here with you jokers.
Awesome.
Which isn't all bad.
Our audience is thrilled.
We appreciate your support.
I'm glad. I'm glad I could be here.
Well, if you're listening, don't forget to like and share this podcast with somebody who you might think like it. That helps us get the word out. So also tonight we're going to talk about the top 3 benefits of getting older. This was a really hard top 3 for me because I could think about all the bad things, but I came up with a few good ones.
You got to focus on the positive, Troy.
I did.
There's a lot of good things getting older.
I finally came up with some.
There's more good things about getting older than there is bad things.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what's going to happen. But we're going to start off with what's on Matt's mind. So Matt, what's on your mind?
Well, it's that time of year, boys.
You on shed hunting or something?
Shed hunting was last month, the previous couple of months. And I actually have not been out to my hunting cabin to actually see how it fared over these last few storms that we've had. There was one, I guess 3 weeks ago, we got 11 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. And then turned around and it stormed 3 days that week where we got an inch or more again. So I know that one of the rows is washed out, but I'm not completely sure what the situation inside the cabin is. Hopefully the roof held up because I did got the roof resealed after the leak. So we'll see. But yeah, so it's that time of year. Speaking of all that rain and storms, there's I saw a trailer for a new movie coming out called
Twisters. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Is it a sequel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's more than one.
Oh.
Because it's Twisters.
Because it's Twist. Well, there was more than one in the first one, too.
So, yeah. So anyway, that got me thinking, being it's that time of year, we've already had some devastating tornadoes this year so far, one up in Nebraska and then another one down in Oklahoma. That destroyed quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure because I don't know if these things kind of go in cycles, but I think it's already been kind of a more active year
El
already.
Nino.
So are we in an El Nino?
Which is Spanish for the Nino.
The Nino?
That's from Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you remember that. Chris
Nino.
Farley. He was doing some kind. He was
Wasn't El Nino a hurricane?
No, it's a La Nina and El Nino. It's a cyclical weather pattern that happens. Get on the Googles.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
And so it has to do with the jet stream trough and how it carries cooler air across the continental United States or warmer air. It depends on the cycle of La Nina or El Nino. And when it sets up like it is this year, they were predicting early on because of the whichever, I think it's El Nino, that it's probably going to be an active season. And it's proven to be true. Although I've been, we got to be careful. I was out of town. This is last week. And everybody canceled everything in the evening, and then it was like a big goose egg.
Yeah, it's split right.
Well, it was a big
between
goose
us.
egg for our area, but not a big
Yeah,
goose
but
egg for.
but here's the deal: we are crying wolf, and people are going to start ignoring these warnings if they keep canceling stuff when it's not
Yeah.
really bad weather.
Yep.
So I am opposed to canceling.
I feel like when they cancel stuff, like that's what happens. Nothing happens. And then when they don't cancel stuff, stuff happens.
If they don't cancel stuff,
But people are more prepared anyway.
they're not. Well, here's the thing: they're not going to be as prepared next time.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. On
So
that. Yeah.
their fault. That's
So-
like that's bad.
Yeah, don't cancel stuff.
Yeah. Just be aware.
Well, because, yeah, they had my wife all scared about it. I was like, I'm going to go work out. She was like, I really wish you would just come home at 4. I'm
Yeah.
like, why?
Right.
Like the storm, if a storm hits us, it's not going to hit us until 7. I can see the radar, you know? And right now I told her, I said, it looks like it's going to split and go around us.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
Yeah. I mean, we can go back through the record, but I told you guys a day ahead of time it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you did actually.
I don't remember that.
I said it's not going to go to Wichita. It's going to be south, further south, and that's when Oklahoma got blasted.
Yeah.
And I was in a different country, and I could tell this.
He was in Bangladesh or something. I don't know.
I think it was China
It was China.
again. But so anyway,
Want a diplomatic
it
mission
got me
from
thinking,
Alderaan.
because normally, like around here, the tornadoes really don't stay on the ground that long. They, you might get 10, 20 minutes out of it, and then it kind of recedes back into the cloud, and it kind of goes.
Other than
Typically,
every other decade or so, you get like a Greensburg.
right. And Greensburg was an F5, wiped out over
95% of the structures in the town.
Yeah. And they actually built back green. I haven't gone back through to see how that's going all these years
It's
later.
pretty. I've been through there.
It is pretty. But I mean green energy wise. So I haven't
Yeah.
been back through to see how that all went. But, and then one of the interesting facts that I came across too was the tri-state tornado was the longest lasting or greatest distance traveled single tornado. And it lasted for 3.5 hours and went 219 miles from Ellington, Missouri to Princeton, Indiana back in 1925. Killed an estimated 695 people.
Wow.
In
That's
that
a lot.
in that
Yeah.
219 mile an hour track. Maximum speed, ground speed was average was 62 miles an hour, and with a maximum of 73 miles an hour going across.
That's booking.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so those things can happen, and I don't know. I mean, I've always, wondered kind of why these big cities and stuff don't get hit. And I just think that there's a heat difference with the concrete from the asphalt or something that kind of protects big cities. Because really you'd see them just kind of develop around them and not hit them. Or, I don't.
Yeah, I think there's just that much more open space because
You think it's just a law of average?
Yeah, a few years ago, they were all hitting in the South, which is a lot more densely populated, and they were going through all kinds of towns. Remember, Tuscaloosa got hit. All kinds of towns were getting hit down there, and they're just more densely populated. And here we're not. Like really, between here and Denver,
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much between here and Denver.
which is 8 hours away by car. So that Elkhorn tornado in
Oklahoma.
no, that was Nebraska.
Elkhorn,
outside
Nebraska.
Omaha.
That's right.
We got a friend of the show that's up there, one of Broughton's former roommates. And so I was watching the weather and I was like, dude, looks like we got one bearing down on you. And he sent me a picture of the tornado from his deck. Like it was, and he's like,
wow.
It's in the direction of my boat storage. And then a little bit later he texted back and he's like, it threaded the needle and it went between my house and my boat.
Yeah, and my brother pastors a church up there in Omaha, and I mean they were just looking for resources to get to any of those people that were impacted and displaced, and so a lot of people you hear about the F rating or the scale for a tornado, and kind of what those means. And you got F0 to they even list an F6, which says it's an inconceivable tornado. F5 is an incredible tornado. F4 is devastating. F3 is severe. Apparently, this is the
old Fujita scale, not the enhanced Fujita.
Oh, so there's the EF.
The EF is the new one. Yeah.
What is that called? EF.
Fujita. EF tornado scale.
That would be kind of crazy for an inconceivable.
Yeah, inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
So they've got EF0, which is basically 65 to 85 miles an hour, a typical Kansas day. F1, 86 to 110 miles an hour. EF2, 111 to 135. F3, 136 to 165.
And
F4, 166 to 200. And
EF3 was what hit Andover 2 years ago?
Took out the Y.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. EF3.
And I mean, that threw car into the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the building was standing.
Yeah, it's not like, but it was,
Yeah.
I mean, because it was all glass too, so there's a lot of destruction there just from the glass. But, and then F5 is anything over 200.
Yeah. So here's the big thing going on in the storm chasing world. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with this at all.
No.
So storm chasing, like there's hundreds of storm chasers now, and they all have this social media presence, and they're trying to get views and all kind of crazy stuff. And they're like hunters want to get trophies, right? So a trophy tornado chase would be like an F4, EF4. Like that's a monster. That's a 10-pound bass of tornadoes. And then there's like state records, which would be an EF5 or a world record type deal. So the problem is with them is they all want to declare what it is based off visibility of the tornado and the rotation that they're picking up with radar, some Doppler, whatever. And they're like, oh, based on the signature, this is an EF4, and look at that wedge. It's probably an EF5. Oh, followed an EF5 tornado. They're all on their Twitters, whatevers. But the National Weather Service actually looks at damage to determine the miles per hour. So based on building damage, they could tell you. So it takes a day, maybe 2 days, depending upon how big the storm was. And they go through and they look at, based on the structures, how many, did it blow the windows out? Did it knock the whole thing down? And so now the storm chasing community is trying to say that's an archaic method. We shouldn't be looking at actual damage. We should look at all of our instruments that we have on all of our vehicles, because what if one of these big tornadoes is in a field and it didn't hit any buildings? Then we still want to be able to declare how big and bad it was for their trophy calendar. And so they're getting all upset and trying to change the industry. And like specifically with Elkhorn, they were saying that night, the storm chasers in Nebraska, that was no less than an EF4. So they were declaring, and I got a picture of it. My buddy Matt, that he and his son were having an argument over whether or not that was a cloud or a tornado, because it was so massive. Like it was just, and he's like, no, I see rotation. That's a tornado. And it sounds like, no, but it's too big. It's not like it's just this massive wedge, but it was short. So everybody I'm watching it online with all these Yahoo storm chasers, like no less than an EF4. Well, then I look at drone footage the next morning, and just the damage of the houses. I'm like, I text my buddy, is an EF3. And he's like, what do you mean? All the people were talking last night about how big it was and da-da-da. I'm like, but the wind is measurable based on the damage. Like, it hits a neighborhood, and what's left will tell you what miles per hour. They have a method of doing this with the National Weather Service. And sure enough, a few hours after that, the National Weather Service came out and it was EF3. And there were the storm chasers, the educated whatevers, overhyped dramatic people were like, oh, it's got an EF5 just because it's big or whatever the radar said. Well, that could be somewhere in the vicinity, but if it's not on the ground, it doesn't matter. Like how much wind's blowing. It's whatever it's going to damage, whatever's on the ground. So they're all getting up in arms about it. I say do it like it should. And I got educated on all that when I went to Joplin a few days after it got hit by that EF4. In F4, all these stick houses that are around here, like what we live in, they're mostly not standing, like just like wiped clean. Your stuff may be on the lot somewhere, but there's not much. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's a stone or a brick, there's a few walls that are standing, but the roof's gone. All that stuff is out of there. Basically, from no trees standing at all. All of them snapped. EF3, you still have some trees.
I don't want an F4 at my house. I only have like 7 trees, and I need to keep all of them.
Yeah. We go out and hold on to one.
That might be fun for a little bit. But yeah, so I did notice that too on that night that we were supposed to get pretty hammered, and then so I got on YouTube and was watching some of those streamers, and the one guy's got 4 different chasers. He's got their feeds from 4 different places, whatever. I thought it was pretty informative, but
right.
Again, I get
they get all hyped up.
Yeah, they do get a little worked up, and then every now and again the beep comes on, and then they tornado warning, blah 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 blah, and
Now, I will tell you, there was a dude, one of the storm chasers, so I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, back off. Why make changes just so your record looks better? There was one guy who was chasing a tornado, rural Oklahoma, and it hit a farmhouse, and he pulled up on it, and like the kids were hurt really bad, young family, and he he was just doing a live feed, so you could hear all this happening. But he picked them up, and was the mom called 911, and they're trying to coordinate a meeting with the ambulance because kids like bleeding out of the head and all kind of stuff. Saved their life, which is awesome. Excuse me.
You all right there?
I'm good.
Wuhan, China.
So it's not China now. It's the bird flu. Avian flu's coming after everybody.
Oh.
But anyway, I think we need to be careful of all this canceling stuff when there's not stuff happening. If you've got a at-risk area that covers 2 states, which it did, you can't cancel everything that's happening in 2 whole states knowing that there's just going to be a fraction of that area that gets hit by severe weather. That's silly.
Is it?
It is. Matt, life is risk.
I mean,
I
go back to the snow day or whatever we were talking about where you like to stay at work and I'm just going to go home. I mean, I'll take any reason to go home.
Well, yeah, hermit. Life's got to happen. Let's get it done.
Get it done.
Get it done. That's what's going to happen when you stay there and your building gets hit. You're just going to get it done.
Well,
and then it's going to be finished.
How do you know a tornado is going to hit the building I'm in versus the one that you're hiding in?
Yours is way up. Now, mine's more likely to come blow over.
Yeah. Well, so let's go to the least safe place.
I'm going to go to that middle bathroom that you can hear the dogs barking across the alley 3 streets away.
Yeah. The statistics are
a very solid structure.
The statistics are there's a 95% chance of survival if you are above ground, like on the ground floor, and in an interior room without windows, if an EF4 directly hits you.
What about a basement?
Oh, you're 100%. Yeah, it's you may not have a house.
Oh, you were talking about
100%.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, 99.9%.
Nothing's ever for certain, Chet.
We'll cancel that.
Cancel it.
F5, that's a different story. Like that thing's just brutal. No, that doesn't, you could be in your basement and then, have bowling balls stored above you or something like that and they all fall on your head.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. But as far as like your house, may be gone, but you should be alive
Yeah.
if you're underground.
All right. Well,
That's it.
thanks for bringing that to our attention.
I did what I could on such short notice. That's what I've been thinking about. And I do plan to go, even though it looks kind of corny. I'm going to go see the new Twisters.
Awesome. You're actually going to go to the theater?
No, I'm going to watch it when it comes out on video. No,
Oh, okay.
there is another movie coming out that I am going to go see in the theater.
Oh, what's that?
Furiosa.
Oh, yeah.
Mad Max.
Gotcha. All right. Well, top 3 benefits of getting older. Chet, why don't you lead us off since you got some good ones?
Number 3, I don't know if they're good or not. Better perspective. You have a better understanding of what is truly important. You recognize it a lot quicker. And which means also you recognize what's not important quicker.
Okay. It's good.
Wisdom.
Number 2, old friends. You can't make old friends. But the older you get, the more old friends you have. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Are you with me?
That's deep.
It is deep. It's a song, too. In case you're wondering, by Ben Rector.
Old Ben.
Should have killed him.
But the one of the lines in that song is, I think, is pretty important, and I think what it really drives the concept home. There is nobody I'm going to meet from here for the rest of my life that's going to know what my parents' back porch looked like. Like, it's just not going to happen. And there's a limited number of dudes that came over to my house, hung out, and we did that in a lot of, even in college. I'd bring people home. Know what it's like to sleep on my floor, couches, home cooked meal from mom. That's just not going to happen anymore. You can't make friends like that anymore based on the stage of our life. But the benefit is, who those people are, and most of them are still plugged in, which I think is pretty awesome. Like, that's another benefit of getting older. And we've been friends for what, Matt?
Too long.
10 years?
Yeah, too long.
10 years.
About 10.
Yeah, but I mean, 10 years. How many friends have you had for 10 years? Probably you? Hardly any. But
Not many.
no, but I mean, with age comes longevity with those relationships that you build, which is pretty cool. And number 1, recognizing mortality. So understanding that there are limits to this life, and that drives wisdom and decision making, priorities, a whole lot of stuff. So knowing that, hey, at some point, everybody's going to die. And the older you are, the closer you're getting to that. And what are you going to do about that? Be different. Pay attention. Don't just coast through life.
It's good. I like it.
All right, that's my 3.
Matt, what you got?
Number 3. Oh, I didn't go as deep as Chet at all.
Oh, got a good return on investment from a stock market.
Nope. Number 3, that much closer to retirement.
You're already medically retired.
Yeah, but like officially retired where, I don't feel like a turd if I don't go to work anymore.
What age are you looking at for that, Matt?
It could be 44. It could be, it could be 50. I don't know.
This is a while back. Let's say 7 or 8 years ago. I asked my financial advisor, could I retire at 55? And he's like, absolutely. And I was like, really? I mean, I've invested that well up till now. And he said, oh, no, anybody can retire at 55. How much money do you want when you're 55? How much you want to live on? And I was like, well, I want to have the same, life, standard of living I have right now. He's like, yeah, that's not going to happen at 55, man. And I'm like, doggone it. He's like, but if you want to, sell your house and live in a van or something, then, we can make that happen.
That's not all bad, actually.
Yeah, could work out.
Could work out. I'd have to be a large van, but.
Yeah.
Number 2, financial security.
That's a good one.
Like, I was just thinking the other day, like, when I was growing up, and I go to the gas station to fill up with fuel, and $15 would fill up my entire tank.
$10 would fill up mine.
And back then you're like, man, do I have $15? Hopefully I have enough to cover this, this, so I can get back and forth to school or, whatever.
Right.
And, I was filling up the other day and it was, now I've got a diesel truck and it's, the same amount of gallons as my old truck, basically that 30 gallon range or whatever. And, it was even less, I guess, than $15 to fill up. But, looking at that and I'm like, man, it's $3.65 to fill this truck up, spending $7, here at the fuel pump. And back then I was complaining about $15 and didn't know if I was going to make it. Now it's like I can just, I'm at a place, thankfully, where I don't really need to worry about how much cents, I don't need to drive to the next gas station to save 10 cents. So, just that financial security that comes along with, having basically everything that you need now. You've basically collected all the necessities, and so you can basically just maintain.
Right.
And then number one, an excuse to sleep anytime, anywhere, and nobody really asks questions anymore.
Okay.
It's not considered lazy. It's, he just had a long day.
He's old.
He's old. It kind of goes along.
He just needs a little nap.
Well, I'll bring that up later. That's another good podcast topic. But yeah, I'll bring that up later. That's my top three.
Very good. All right, my number 3, senior discounts.
You got a ways to go. Well,
no, but it comes with age.
Comes with age, though.
That's benefits of getting older.
Yeah, senior discounts. I think you start getting them at age 55 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you identify
right
as a senior.
Oh,
dude.
Yeah.
If you just stop dyeing your hair, you'd look older.
I hadn't dyed my hair in a long time.
Well, I mean,
we can tell.
And I've only done it twice in my whole life.
Twice? I thought you only did it once.
There was this one time in college.
To make it darker?
No.
Oh. No. Did you bleach it? You would put peroxide in it and go sit in the sun?
Yeah.
Lemon juice?
Oh, yeah.
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 That's hilarious.
Yep. Number 2, gray hair. Speaking of hair.
I was just getting ready to mention Chet's hair. I think it's grayer than when we recorded last time.
That's dirty blonde. What are you talking about?
No, that is gray.
No.
It is gray, bro.
Right here? Up here? Just looking at the beard.
You straight up look like a silverback gorilla. It's not just gray. It's like a silver.
That's just the studio lights here at Trussell Media.
Is it?
Studios.
I don't know.
I think these lights are pretty good, and they're just showing off the true color of that.
So, speaking of China, not this time that I was there, but the time before, they very rarely turn gray. A Chinese person.
Yeah.
So they see gray is really, really old, really old. So I was there with a coworker, good friend of mine, who's bald. So you don't know what color his hair would be, but it would be gray. He's got 10 years on me. And we were having a conversation with one of the locals, and he said, Chet, you're about to retire, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? And he's like, yeah, you got to be close. You got to be close to retirement age. And I'm nowhere near close to retirement age. I got another couple decades in me. And then they turned over to my buddy and said something along the lines of, yeah, you've probably got a long time before you're going to retire. And he looked at me and he's like, this is kind of funny because 100% it's
all about hair,
all about the hair color. And so apparently I have the hair color of a retiree.
You do. I mean,
yeah. And since we're talking,
like all three of us do actually.
Well, your beard shot to white recently,
overnight. It feels like to me.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and I'm not even pulling them out. You know what I
You
mean?
go,
Like,
you
I
go
didn't
back
even,
through just a couple pictures on my phone, like 6 months ago, no gray hair in your beard.
Oh, there was gray. But what's funny too is the longer it gets, the wider it gets. And so if I actually trim it up, because most of the gray is under here,
Yeah.
it's not up here. So if I trim it, then it goes back to looking darker. Yeah,
You gonna adjust for men that thing?
No.
You gonna put some black in there?
I'm not.
I think you should.
I got something you can borrow.
No. Maybe someday, but not anytime soon.
I'm getting the stripes. Do you see these stripes? They're showing up right
Oh,
there.
like the little gremlin.
I don't know what that is.
Looks like a
but-
badger.
You know what a gremlin is?
Badger. I don't know what a gremlin has to do in relation to facial hair.
There was one that had stripes, and they called him Stripes, and he had a mohawk, and he had like two little stripes on him.
Okay, I don't think I'd look like that. Do I?
No, I'm just
Okay.
saying in
You
comparison.
look goofy.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Goofy's not a gremlin. Goofy's a
dog.
yeah.
Do you really? Is Goofy really a dog though?
Yeah.
We don't know that.
Pluto is a dog. Goofy's
Pluto is
a
a dog. Goofy, they're
dog. Mickey's
like
a mouse.
completely
They're
different.
all animals.
Yeah, but Goofy,
Goofy was a hound dog that walked on two legs.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not arguing.
else would he
I
be?
don't know the answer. I'm
What
just.
would he be?
I don't know. He
Yeah.
can walk and talk. Pluto couldn't walk and talk.
But the mice and the ducks walk and talk
Right.
Why
Why
would-
couldn't Pluto talk?
because he's their pet dog. It's different
Yeah, I don't get that.
in the wonderful world of Disney.
There's a lot of things I don't understand about Disney.
Senior discounts and gray hair.
Number 1, bedroom stamina.
I don't want to ask. You sleep longer?
Sleep longer.
Okay. Yeah. You've been risky.
I've got the energy to stay in bed all day
That's right.
and not do anything.
Okay, I'm older than you guys.
I mean, we did go from like people kissing Troy's wife.
I know that
to-
was a little weird.
I did get some comments on that from
Troy's
some folks
going down a
texting me
different-
like they thought that was super funny when when it was the error of pronunciation or terminology and
Yeah.
the way it was.
Don't stop.
Yeah,
Things that need to stop. Not kissing my wife.
right.
Anyway, the older I get, the less I can sleep. I get up
Really?
earlier. If I try to stay in bed for a long time, my back starts hurting.
Oh yeah, I can't sleep late.
Yeah,
But
see, you're getting old.
You have to go to bed earlier if you want to sleep longer.
I slept longer when I was younger than I sleep now.
That's why you take naps.
See, I sleep way less
I'm a big fan of naps.
than I used to, and I get up way before I used to. Like,
Yeah.
unless I was the Marine Corps, not included, obviously, because I had to be up early all the time for that, and I hated it. But the Marine Corps taught me to sleep literally anywhere, on anything, at any time. Like get it
in a moment's notice.
like
you
get
could-
it, get it when you can, and then right back. You know, but yeah, I like that about getting older, just being able to. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go lay down and take a nap, and nobody. I still get some comments from my younger friends that are still in their 30s or something like that, because they just don't understand yet, and I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, hit 40 and then tell me that you don't want to nap.
So where do you where's the optimum napping place, like at your house?
Bed.
You go to your bed.
I
to nap.
literally go to bed. I go like actually going to sleep.
You go to your bed to nap?
Couch.
Yes. Couches are for napping.
See,
Beds are for sleeping overnight.
no, I mean, I literally lay down. I'll go to sleep.
I will go to my bed if the kids are running in and out of the house and stuff.
See, my
but
thing is we have dual zone climate in the house, and the bedroom is the perfect temperature. I'd like it colder, but I do it for the sake of my wife.
Financial security.
No, I screw that. I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about what my electric bill is every month either.
Okay.
I don't care
Yeah.
because I'm going to be cool. I will go broke. I will literally spend savings to keep myself at 67 degrees.
Let me tell you, I just went a week without air conditioning
I couldn't do it. Couldn't.
And,
I could not do it.
on my trip, the hotel I was in.
I don't know. There would be a lot of things I would do to stay cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd sell my truck. I'd,
But your truck has air conditioning.
yeah, but I don't spend as much time in my truck as I do at home.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That Troy bedroom stamina. Good grief.
All right, Chad, give us a good word.
Good word from Psalm 90, verse 12. Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. I think this is speaking to that recognizing mortality that I had in my list is if you know that you only have a limited time, if you fully comprehend that, you should have a lot more wisdom in how you choose to spend your time, the words that you give to the people that are around you, what your priorities are. If you think you're going to live forever, nothing matters. If you know you're not going to live forever and that your days are numbered, then that escalates. Everything becomes more important. Jason Isbell actually has a song, If We Were Vampires, which is he's saying, I'm glad that I'm going to die at some point because then I value our relationship. Because if we were going to live forever, I wouldn't want to even hold your hand because you're always going to be there. So anyway, so numbered days, good word, I guess.
Finite number.
Yep.
Finite. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you next week. Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.